It was 2014, and I was struggling with insecurity and imposter syndrome. I was wrestling with trying to be perfect and knowing painfully that I wasn't coming close to perfection. I had, though, in fact, created my dream life. I had moved to the city that I had always wanted to. I had become engaged to my college sweetheart. We had an amazing apartment as well that overlooked the city skyline, pool deck, all of the things. Everything on the outside was going great. All of the boxes were checked, but it felt like anything but. And to add insult to injury, a coworker, a peer, who didn't love being teammates and peers, let's say, decided to observe with me and share, you know what? You're really meek. And let's just say it was not shared in love or a biblical sense. Her words amplified my insecurity, and everything felt strained and under intense pressure. It wasn't good. But recently, within the past few months, someone DM'd me a video on meekness. I'll share it in the show notes. It was by Mrs. Amanda Ferguson. She talks about feminine leadership. The person who sent me this video was someone who I respected deeply, someone who is a light and a pillar in the community here in Charlotte and far beyond. But you guys, the thing is, she didn't share or send anything alongside the video. She just sent it over. A few of the highlights of what was included in the video. And so that meek doesn't mean weak, but strength under control. Quiet doesn't mean silence, but peace and tranquility from within. Becoming this type of a woman comes at with a price, but the cost never outweighs the rewards. Every day we get to choose if the woman we are is harsh or clothed in quiet strength. So it was a beautiful video. But because I too am human and was wondering if there's a reason why no context was set with the video, I did in fact have a split second where I wondered, had I gone too far in a different direction and lost the quality of meekness over the years? And was she sending this as a nudge to tap into that? Worst case scenario, anyone, we can go to that place. But through a deep breath and through peace only found through the Holy Spirit. I ultimately view that video as a gift. And you know what? It totally was. The next day, that she sent a follow-up message, and it said, I meant to say that this reminds me of you. Out of all people, this woman who I respect and admire thought of me when she saw that video. And yes, of course, that was an enormous compliment. It was a blessing. It was a highlight of the day. But what mattered even more than recognition or accolades from someone who I deeply respect was that moment felt like an Elroy or God sees moment. A dig, an insult that was thrown at me 10 years ago was redeemed with her obedience to send that over and encourage. It reminds me of Genesis 50:20, that you take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. So for you sweet listeners today, what has been spoken over you that needs redeeming? What was meant as a criticism, but in fact may be worth celebrating as it is God's intentional design? What quality is coming to mind for you? Name it. And go further and consider, how can you purposefully use this for God's good and for his glory in your life right now and those who are around you. Also consider 2 Corinthians 12:19, which says, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness. In his weakness you are strong. When you surrender and allow him to operate through you in great measure, God and his glory is put on display. 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18 says to rejoice always, pray continually, and give thanks in all circumstances. Know that God is sovereign. He is mighty to save, and he will use all things for his good and his glory. Walk forward today in authority and confidence, in strength that is grounded by your God, because you are created in his image and you are his beloved. It is time to celebrate that and to use those God-given strengths that he has handpicked and hand-selected for you to bless others, because it is worth it 1,000 times over. If you're wrestling with insecurities and you tend to focus on where you're falling short, faith-based coaching might be for you. Through grace-based Christian coaching, I serve ambitious women in leadership who are struggling with overwhelm and self-doubt, and they want to live a more intentional and Christ-centered life. So if you would like one-on-one support to incorporate faith into your work and your life, there are 3 ways for us to stay connected. One, simple, subscribe to the podcast and or YouTube. The second one is to join our Grace-Based Christian Coaching email family at gracebasedchristiancoaching.com/subscribe. And when you do that, you receive a 15-minute laser session, instant access. It's called From Overwhelmed to Overjoyed. And so you'll experience a taste of coaching in this video training, which is so much fun. And if you're really ready to get moving, learn more about our coaching programs offered, gracebasedchristiancoaching.com/coaching. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.